Well, hi, folks. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Welcome back to the Jeff Daugherty Show. Christian Whistleblower, New Cosmic Knowledge YouTube channel. Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich. Outwitting the Devil, an amazing book. You've heard me talk about his book, Think and Grow Rich. This book was so controversial that his wife would not let him publish it. After Hill died, while the wife was alive, she still wouldn't allow the book to be published. And finally, after she died, 70 years after it was written, this book was actually published. And the amazing thing about it is now here we are, another few decades later, and the book is written like it was written for today. An absolutely amazing book. And of course, the first question is, do you really think he talked to the devil? Well, why don't you listen to what he said and make up your own mind? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and we're looking at Napoleon Hill interview with the devil. Just a little bit of background. The interview took place at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial. And I don't know if you've ever been in the Lincoln Memorial, but I walked in there about 2 in the morning, about this time, 2 in the morning, and was immediately, my first thought was, now I understand how people could worship statues. It's an amazing statue. It's an amazing piece of artwork. And it's interesting that the interview would take place at the the Lincoln Memorial. So, whoops, there is not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do, but that is. I should cut that out, but I probably won't. Like I said, it's 2 in the morning. We're all friends here, right? So here begins the interview with the devil. And in this interview, Hill calls himself Mr. Earthbound. So when you see that, that's what he's talking about. And he says to the devil, I have uncovered the secret code by which I pick up your thoughts. I've come to ask you some very plain questions. I demand that you give me direct and truthful answers. Are you ready for the interview, Mr. Devil? And I love how he takes authority and he takes the lead and he says, this is what's going to happen, Mr. Devil. He doesn't, bargain with him. He just tells him, this is what's going to happen. Because Hill had figured it out, in my opinion. And then the devil says to him, I'm ready, but you must address me with more respect. You must address me as your majesty. Wow, I mean, a lot of people say, I'd never call the devil your majesty. Well, let's keep our minds open. Hill says, by what right do you demand such royal respect? And the devil says, I control 98% of the people of your world. Don't you think that entitles me to rate as royalty? Hill, do you have proof of your claim? Yes, plenty of it. Of what does your proof consist? Many things, but if you want answers, you will address me as your majesty. Some you won't understand, some you will. But in order that you may get my viewpoint, I describe myself and correct false notions people have of me in my place of abode. So Hill acquiesces. He says, okay, your majesty, that's fine. Start by telling me where you live, then describe your physical appearance. My physical appearance, well, my dear Mr. Earthbound, I have no physical body. I would be handicapped by such an encumbrance as those in which you earthbound creatures live. So, right away, there's a great truth. The devil, the adversary, the Satan, the Lord, Yaldabaoth, Jehovah, Rat Bastard, Marduk, does not have a physical body. Doesn't mean that they can't at times choose to inhabit a physical body. It means that they don't have a physical body, that they're incorporeal, and that he is spirit. And then he says, I consist of negative energy. You've heard me talk about unbalanced energy. I think that's what Hill's talking about. I consist of unbalanced energy. And I live in the minds of people who fear me. You're starting to see why Pauline religion of both the Roman Catholic and the Roman Protestant variety is so big on fear. What is the beginning of wisdom? What does the Bible say the beginning of wisdom is? The fear of the Lord. Oh, that means respect. It means the fear of the Lord, they say, is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I live in the minds of people who fear me. You're afraid of what you might do because you're born with original sin. You're afraid of going to hell. You're afraid of falling short. You're afraid of the devil. You're afraid of hell. You're afraid of missing the rapture. Fear, fear, fear. Christianity creates such fear because Christianity is the abode of the devil. I also occupy 1/2 of every atom of physical matter and every unit of mental and physical energy. Perhaps you will better understand my nature if I tell you I am the negative portion of the atom. He is the energy that unbalances energy. But what he's also telling you is that if you stand in your positive energy, your balanced energy, then you can snap him back into balance or he'll have to leave. And then Hill says, oh, I see what you're trying to claim. You're laying the foundation that if it were not for you, there would be no world, no stars, no electrons, no human beings. That's absolutely true, he says. Well, if you occupy only 1/2 of energy and matter, who occupies the other half? The other half is occupied by opposition. So, see, he's telling you he is the adversary of the Christ, of the inexpressible ones, of the inexpressible one. And this, I think that, and I'm just editorializing here, this being that he's talking to is Yahweh, it's the Lord, it's Jehovah, it's Marduk, and he is not on the level of the inexpressible one, the ultimate divinity. He's not even on the level of the Elohim yet. So he tries to paint himself as equal with the inexpressible one, the ultimate divinity, but he's not. So you have the universe divided up with God. Is that your claim? Not my claim, but actual fact. No, the actual fact is that he has perhaps he just told you that his domain is the minds of them that fear him. So he probably has 1/2 of the minds that fear him, and he may even have 1/2 of all the minds that work for him, and we could even go out on a limb and say that he controls 1/2 of the energetic emanations of this present world age. But we're talking about a earth system entity. We're not talking about a universal entity here. You would also understand why it has to be true, or there could be no such as yours, no earthbound creature such as you. I'm not a beast with a forked tongue and a spiked tail. Now, it's interesting to me that he says, I'm not a beast with a forked tongue and a spiked tail. And yet, when we see him in Scripture, he is pictured as what? A dragon, which has what? Forked tongue, spiked tail. So I think he doth protest too much. But if you control the minds, Hill says, of 98 of every 100 people, you said so yourself, who causes all the mystery in this 98% devil-controlled world if you do not? And he says, I didn't say I didn't cause all the mystery of the world. On the other hand, I boast of it. It's my business to represent the unbalanced side of everything, if you'll allow me that license. It's my business to represent the unbalanced side of everything, including the thoughts of you earthbound people. How else could I control people? My opposition controls positive thought or balanced thought. I control negative thought. And there again, the devil, even though he's sworn to tell the truth to Hill had some, this must be a magic, Hill must have him in a place of energetic, magical encumbrance, because he's being more forthcoming than he would have to be, but he's also still mixing in lies. The divine does not control positive thought. You control positive thought. I control positive thought. We control positive thought. The divine in us. That spark of divinity is that which can control our positive thought if we train it, teach it, allow it to. How do you gain control of the minds of people? This is great. Oh, that's easy. I simply move in and occupy the unused space of the human brain. I sow seeds of unbalanced thought into the minds of people so I can occupy and control the space. Now know this. We know from modern teachings that it's not true that half the brain, 3/4 of the brain, 1/3 of the brain, whatever, is not used. That's not true. It is not used all the time. All of the brain gets used. It's just not all used all the time. What the devil is saying is that he uses the part of your brain that you don't use that much. So people are lazy, and this is the reason why he wants to get you watching TV, listening to music, and zoning out, so he can move in and use more of your brain. You must have many tricks, Hill says, and devices by which you gain and hold control of the human mind. To be sure, the devil says, I do employ tricks and devices, and my devices are clever ones, too. Go ahead and describe your clever tricks, Your Majesty. One of my cleverest devices for mind control is fear. Your Catholic Church is all about fear. Your Protestant church is all about fear. Your Bible's all about fear. Don't tell me it's about love. Read it. It's about fear. I plant the seed of fear in the minds of people and use these seeds, and as these seeds germinate and grow, I control the space they occupy. The 6 most effective fears are fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. What does your news media constantly talk about? Things that make you afraid. What's the news media constantly talking about? Oh, there's going to be a financial crash. Oh, and there's people criticizing you. Bad health, loss of love. You get the picture. The media, and even what does church use? If you don't give, give as a cheerful giver, not like you're forced, but it'll be pressed down and running over if you give. God loves a cheerful giver, right? Don't criticize the church, just have faith. If you're in ill health, God will heal you if you're doing good. Oh, you can't lead the church. All these people that love you, you're getting old. You gotta make sure you get saved, and you gotta be ready after you die. Which of the 6 fears serves you most often, Your Majesty? The first and last, poverty and death. At another time during life, I tightened my grip on all people through one or both, poverty or death. I plant these fears in the minds of people so deftly that they believe them to be their own creation. Because they are. He can plant a seed in your mind, but he can't make it grow. He's like a bird. A bird, you can't stop a bird from flying over your head, but you can stop it from building a nest in your hair. So the adversary, the Satan, can't read your mind, can't make things go into your mind, but he can offer up suggestions and allow you to take them. I plant fears in the minds of people so they believe they're their own creation. I accomplish this by making people believe I'm standing just beyond the entrance gate of the next life, waiting to claim them after death for eternal punishment. Whose teaching is that? Catholicism, Protestantism, Roman Catholicism, Roman Protestantism teaches you that's the big recruiting tool. Fear of Satan recruits more people to your Christian religion than love for Jesus. I'm standing just outside the entrance gate of the next life, waiting to claim them. Of course, I can't punish anyone except in that person's own mind through some form of fear. But fear of the thing which doesn't exist is just as useful to me as fear of that which does exist. All forms of fear extend the space I occupy in the human mind. Look at these great truths that are being stated here by the devil. He says, I can't punish anyone except in their own mind, or if they allow me to. He can't take you into a soul farm unless you allow him to, unless you follow him into one. And what would make you do so? Fear. But any kind of fear is good enough for him. Your Majesty, will you explain how you gained this control over human beings? The story's too long to be told in a few words. It began over 1 million years ago when the first man began to think. Up until that time, I had control over all of them, but enemies of mine discovered the power of positive thought, balanced thought, placed it in the minds of men, and they began to battle on my part to remain in control. So far, I've done quite well by myself, having lost only 2% of the party to the opposition, of people in opposition. And that's probably true. I take it from your answer that men who think are your enemies. Is that right? It is not right, he says, but it is correct. Tell me something more about the world in which you live. I live wherever I choose, said Yaldabaoth. Time and space don't exist for me. I'm a force best described to you as energy. Bam! How long have I been telling you that? My favorite physical dwelling place is the minds of the earthbound. I control a part of the brain space. The amount of space I occupy depends upon how little and what sort of thinking that person does. As I've told you, I can't entirely control any person who thinks. That's why they want you watching TV. That's why they want you watching porn. That's why they want you playing video games for hours and hours and hours. That's why they want you zoned out with any manner of mind-altering substances. That's why they want you not thinking. You speak of your opposition. What do you mean by that? My opposition controls the positive forces of the world. Faith, love, hope, optimism. Also the positive factors of natural law, which keep the earth and planets and all the stars balanced in their course. But these forces are meek in comparison with those which operate in the human mind under my control. You see, I don't seek to control stars and planets. I prefer the control of human minds, because that's where the real power is, because that's where the spark of divinity is directed from within a human body. Whew, deep, deep, powerful things that we're talking about here. Do you think he's talking to the real devil, or is he making it up? When did you acquire this power, and by what means do you add to it? By appropriating mind power of the earthbound as they come through the gate at the time of death. I'm trying to teach you about soul farms. I'm trying to teach you about these entities standing there at the gate trying to take you in. We did a study today about near-death experiences. 98 out of every 100 who come to my plane from the earth plane are taken over by me, and their mind power is added to my being. I get all who come over with any form of fear. Christianity's all about fear. This unbalanced devil gets all of those who are worried or have even any fear. That's why we're trying to get you to unwind your mind. That's why we're trying to get you to unindoctrinate yourself. That's why we're trying to get you to be excellent to each other. I'm constantly at work preparing the minds of people before death and using them while they're here so I can get them after they come too. Wow, this is powerful. So Hill says, tell me how you go about your job of preparing human minds so you can control them. Poverty. I deliberately discourage people from accumulating material wealth because poverty discourages men from thinking, makes them think they're easy prey. My next best friend is ill health. An unhealthy body discourages thinking. Interesting. Who are your greatest enemies on earth? All who inspire people to think and act on their own are my enemies. All people who inspire men to think and act on their own That's all I do, is try to inspire you to think and act on your own. Am I an enemy of Yaldabaoth, the Lord, the devil, Yahweh, Jehovah, rat bastard? You bet I am. Because I'm trying to encourage you to think and take responsibility on your own. He lists Socrates, Confucius, Voltaire, Emerson, Paine, Lincoln. And you're not doing me any good either. Oh, interesting. Why do you fear the Rockefeller Fountain? This is, I don't know about, Rockefeller money is being used to isolate and conquer diseases. Finances campaigns for higher standards. Encouraging men to conduct business by the golden rule. I don't know enough about Rockefeller. What about the boys and girls who are said to be on the road to hell? Are you in control of them? Yes and no. I've corrupted the minds of the young by teaching them to drink and smoke, and they have baffled me through their tendency to think for themselves. How about that? That's still kind of true today, isn't it? That's still kind of true today, isn't it? You've corrupted the minds of the young people through filling the mind-altering intoxicant. I understand how these intoxicants can destroy the power of independent thought, but don't see what smoking has to do with your cause. Cigarettes break down the power of, here we go. I get in trouble every time I talk about this because when I talk about weed, people are so emotional about weed. They'd rather I talk about their mama than talk about weed. And I really think you should ask yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, self, why do I get so emotional about weed? Weed breaks down the power of persistence. It does. We all know it does. You don't want to admit it, but you know it does too. It does break down the power of endurance. Any smoke you put in your lungs is going to affect your endurance. It destroys your ability to concentrate. Don't tell me it doesn't. You know it does. Deadens and undermines the imaginative. I have some of the best thoughts ever when I'm on weed. It's because you don't have any thoughts when you're straight. And another way is to help keep people from using their minds effectively. Any habits which weaken one's will bring to its relatives move in and take possession of the mind. I've talked to multiple shamans that say that weed is the most dangerous medicine out there. Now, that being said, I'm an advocate of medicinal weed because it's so much better than the pharmaceuticals. And I'm sure that you can use weed in a way that isn't going to cause you to fall into this category, but it's good for some physical ailments, but it can cause a world of spiritual ailments. I know you don't like me saying it, but it's the truth anyhow, and I'm not going to stop saying it just to please you. If you feel like you have to unsubscribe because I'm telling you that weed isn't the benign, no-problem thing you want to make believe that it is, sorry. But be realistic. Wake up and smell the coffee. Is it better than pharmaceuticals? Yes. Does that mean that you should have a bong to your lips before your feet hit the floor in the morning? No, it doesn't. Let's get off of smoking before I get myself in too much trouble. Your Majesty, when I began this interview, I thought you were a fraud and a fake, but now I see that you are very powerful. Your apologies accepted, but you needn't have bothered. Many people question my power. I got most of them at the gate as they came over. I ask no person to believe in me. I prefer that people fear me. I'm no beggar. I take what I want by cleverness and force. Begging people to believe is the business of the rat bastard. Yeah, here we go again. I don't buy it. Please pardon my rudeness, but you are the damnedest fiend ever to turn loose on innocent people. I thought you were kind enough to let people alone while they're living. that you merely tortured them after death. Now I learn that you destroy their right to freedom of thought and cause them to go through a living hell on earth. I get what I want by exercising self-control. It's not so good for my own business, but I suggest you emulate me instead of criticize me. You call yourself a thinker, and you are. Otherwise, you never would have forced this interview on me. See? Hill had some workings going on. But you'll never be the sort of thinker that frightens me unless you gain and exercise control over your own emotions. That Jeff makes me so mad every time he talks about weed. Jeff never made you mad. You choose to get mad at Jeff because what he says about weed. Nobody ever makes you happy, sad, excited, depressed. No one has the right to make you feel anything unless you give him the power to make you feel that. Oh, that guy cut me off in traffic. He made me so mad. No, he didn't. You chose to get mad based upon what was perpetrated. Until you realize that no one makes you mad, you decide to get mad. Until you realize that no one makes you happy, you decide to be happy. Until you realize that no one makes you sad, you decide to get sad. Until you realize that no one makes you feel any emotion, you will be a victim of your emotions, and you will be easy pickings for the enemies of your spiritual development. Simple as that. You will learn to control your emotions, or you will be controlled by your emotions. You will learn to control your emotions, or you will never control your own spiritual development. Go ahead and tell me some of the tricks you've devised for gaining control of the human mind. What's your most powerful weapon? I've got so many, he says. It's so hard to say which is the most powerful. War, he talks about. And war causes fear. So he likes to stir up war. Who's in the business of stirring up war? Churches and governments. I see your point. You're a very ingenious manipulator of the minds of people. Is your devilish business carried on only through people of high position and great influence? Oh, no. I use the minds of people of all walks of life. Begin with your cleverest trick. This is suicide you're forcing on me, but I'm helpless. See, Hill's got him under some type of a magical, energetic confinement. I'll place in your hands a weapon by which millions of your fellow earthbound will defend themselves against me. We should probably stop there. Drifting with the devil. I'll give you the nugget and then we'll go back. My greatest weapon over human beings, says the devil, consists of two secret principles by which I gain control of their minds. The principle of habit I establish, the habit of drifting. When a person begins to drift on any subject, he's headed straight towards the gates of what you earthbound call hell. Drifting. Just when we're talking about the strongest gift, the strongest work of the enemy, my voice starts going. Get out of here, you lying rat. My greatest weapon over human beings consists of two secret principles by which I gain control of their minds. I will speak first of the principle of habit, through which I silently enter the minds of people. By operating through this principle, I establish the habit of drifting. The habit of drifting. When a person begins to just drift along on any subject, he or she is headed straight towards the gates of hell. Describe what you mean by drifting. And we're going to close with this. I can best defined the word drift by saying that people who think for themselves never drift, while those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. He would rather let me occupy his mind and do his thinking than go to the trouble of thinking for himself. A drifter is one who accepts whatever life throws in his way without making a protest or putting up a fight. It's just the Lord's will. It's just the will of God. I'm just a humble servant of God and taking what he puts in my way. He doesn't know, she doesn't know what she wants from life. Doesn't know what she wants from life. Spends all her time getting just that. Nothing. A drifter has lots of opinions, but they're not their own. Most of them are supplied by the devil. A drifter is one who is too lazy mentally to use his own brain. That's the reason I take control of people's thinking and plant my own ideas in their mind, because they're too lazy. Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. Part 1. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Look at that. My shirt matches the book. How about that? Unwind your mind. Unindoctrinate yourself. So you won't be outwitted by the devil. If you unwind your mind, if you unindoctrinate yourself, you will outwit the devil. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Be excellent to each other.